Hello, everyone, and welcome to Out of Combat, where we talk about the episode after the episode. We'll be discussing everything up to and including episode 43, which was kind of a doozy.
Doozy, that's one way to say it.
Yeah, very tense episode.
Before that, I don't know where my camera is, but this guy, that's Maximus Rake. He's the DM of our show.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I forgot to introduce everybody. Hi, I'm Max. I play everybody except for the players, and I'm here with Bunny Travel, who plays Emmy, and Moves Like Jagger from the GG crew, who plays Azric. Thank you for that. I haven't done this in a little bit.
It's been a minute for you, yeah.
Brain dead too, because we just finished. How long was that combat? How many hours? 10?
I think we went an hour over our normal time.
Yeah, that was intense.
I took our break early. We usually do the break at like an hour and a half mark, and I took the break just after an hour. So I think it was just like a 2.5 at least of just combat straight up. Which
usually, like, I'm not crazy about like that much combat, but this was like a good combat. Like
very
really
tense.
beady and tense. Like it was good. It was stressful.
If it weren't for the other mages on the other ship to dispel magic, this would have been such a different fight.
Yeah.
That really, because I only got 2 spell slots, and yeah, after that, there's not much I can do, and I felt
Warlock's hard.
I felt pretty defeated that fight, and not to mention the crew's probably going to mutiny, and Azric will no longer be captain. Well, we don't even have a ship anymore, really. So
it's not all the way sunk yet. Whisper did wave the white flag when you had 22 HP left in your hull, so you have something left, some semblance of a ship. But yeah, that was a very hard and very tough fight, and I think that it gives you some context of like what you're up against for the Divine Order of Conservancy.
Yeah,
because for the hunters, as they're colloquially called by people who don't like them, that's one of their small like vessels to go out and it's fast.
Okay,
it's the size of your ship, and you're small fry compared to other ships. So
I know. If only we had a spoiler, then we'd be so much faster.
And a red paint job, just like get it wrapped, you know.
Yeah.
Some under lights.
Oh, because we have a side chat that we discussed plans. And Max is not part of that chat, and that chat was just all panic. Like they're like, "What do we do?" And I'm like, "We didn't know." And I think I got to a point like, if you guys want to surrender, you need to convince Azric, because he's not going to back down. Like that's how much he hates the Conservancy. And that's all I said. I was going to leave it up to the rest of the crew to like deal with that how they wanted to, because all Azric knows, if we surrender, we're dead anyways. There's no point to surrender because we're all going to die.
And and Emmy's thoughts were, well, I'm going to do what Azric thinks is right, because he doesn't always make the right choices, but he's gotten us this far. Like, right? Like, now's not the time to like not listen to him. I don't know.
I will say that Karzak, and friends, this is their second encounter with the Divine Order Conservancy, because they were on the crew of the bearded crab.
Oh yeah,
which they were the only ones who escaped. So
I forgot about that. Our crew's traumatized. We're gonna need some therapy sessions after this for them.
Yeah. So
who's the ship therapist, do you think?
Probably the same person as the doctor. I don't know. Just like all in one package.
Oh man, we're screwed if it's Cooter.
Oh, she's like, just bottle those feelings up. It'll be fine.
I want to know, for you, Bun, as a player, not even as Emmy, as a player, whenever we switched over to the individual combat, when you're like, I'm going to go on their ship, what went through your head when I started placing those tokens?
I thought this was a mistake. can I convince him that wasn't what I said? And will he believe me that I didn't want to be here? And then I frantically started searching CR beasts I could turn into to see if any of the options were going to help. And it did nothing. And then I just picked the thing I could find with the most AC because I figured at least if I can stay alive for a few rounds, I'll soak the damage.
Yeah. You soaked up quite a bit. And I will say...
Yeah, I was very impressed how long you survived. Like I was like, oh, she's going to lose her form instantly.
I'm a little bummed because my plan had been shove the captain overboard. She's got armor on. She does have magic. She probably figured it out, but that buys us time. So my goal was shove her overboard. And then my plan was to also go overboard and then use my octopus superpowers to squeeze in through a little porthole and get inside the boat and start doing damage. Maybe set the gunpowder on fire, whatever. But I didn't make it that far.
I mean, in regards of like planning, usually our plans go very well. They're like I would say so. We've always succeeded, but this is probably the one time where
we haven't always succeeded in the way that we have planned to succeed.
Listen, we fail upwards. All right.
We do fail upward.
I will say, yes, that is an excellent sort of allegory for your entire crew, your entire campaign is you fail upwards.
And to me, that is success because
they don't call us the unfortunate for nothing.
Worked out.
What did you think, both as Moobs and Azric? Well, I'll ask this. What did you think was going to happen when he called out to his patron, and what did you hope was going to happen? And then also expand on like the answer that you got.
Man. So I was hoping for like this crazy surge of power. And like Azric has like first time, I want to say the first time, but this is like the first time Azric's like, all right, I am fully committing to this patron. And if he can show me what he can do and gift me with power, then I'll do whatever it takes and do whatever he wants. Just so we can win this battle and just sacrifice his humanity, really. And then when the patron was like, "Nah, you bitch. Like, if you can't survive this battle, then what good are you?" I'm like, damn, what a punch to the gut. I'm like,
yeah.
And Azric, he's very prideful, which is probably why he stupidly wouldn't back down and willing to sacrifice his crew to win. And when the patron was like, "Nope, you still got work to do to prove to me," and then he's so defeated. I was like, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, just not as like the DM, but just as like an observer, I'm like, man, if you're like praying for help, you went to the wrong side, buddy.
Well, so Azric has prayed to the other side, and nothing ever happens. It's always later. It's always delayed, right? So now Azric has reached out to both sides, and both times he's been let down. So I don't even know what the hell's going on.
The Pantheon of Gods isn't serving you very well, and maybe you should talk to a good friend about, a power even higher than the Pantheon of Gods. Just saying, like a spirit of the ocean, maybe.
Yeah, I thought that answer made sense from the sort of mysterious patron. Is you've had a little bit of that discussion like a while, like, hey, give me more power. He's like, nah, buddy, like you gotta prove to me, like I just don't give handouts. So
yeah.
Were you expecting him to act like, was that a shock to you, Max, that Azric asked his patron for help in that moment?
I don't think it was a shock, but in the mind of the patron, of which you all really don't understand either of what this thing is, that patron would view that as, I'm overwhelmed, please help me. Not as like, I need more power. It's like, why do you need more power? I gave you power. Is it not good enough for you, kind of thing? So that's kind of what would have gone through this entity's mind.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Azric feels like he is not to say the chosen one, but the one who can do what needs to be done to free the patron, because of his divine, God-blessed background. So I thought, and Azric thought that would give him enough sway to get more power, but turns out that's not the case.
Yeah. You don't know how long they've been waiting either.
That's true. Like, what's another millennia? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's also possible they have more than just you out there.
Yeah, it's very true.
And there are eggs in more than one basket.
What an interesting observation.
What's that mean? Just ass.
Interesting thought.
Stop it.
This is gonna be Highlander. There can only be one. Well, god damn. And then we still have to, even if we get through this situation where we somehow agree to terms that we both don't kill each other and we both go our ways, Azure still has to answer to the crew.
There might be a mutiny. You better hope Cooter and Emmy can get that fruit grown real fast.
Yeah.
Or we find some treasure.
Food shortage is the least of your worries now.
I don't know. Maybe Azric's not fit to be captain. That's,
Ooh, what if we have a restructuring, as they say?
A bit of a transformation.
Who would be captain if not Azric, though? Hayden, I'm guessing?
Oh, I'm pretty sure Whisper will mutiny and take over. That's my thoughts.
I mean, I will point out that we know where we can steal a skyship, and we had too much crew for that anyways.
Yeah, but can only fly for like a day or two.
For now. I mean, we got Cooter. Yeah. She can figure it out.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like there's 100% gonna be a mutiny, but I feel like, just thinking how a crew member would feel about that, there's definitely gonna be some turmoil. I think any of like that morale that's built up is probably gonna be decimated at this point. So
listen,
it'll be interesting.
I got the crew croissants. Okay, they have never eaten croissants before in their lives.
That's worth at least like 3 morale. I've eaten a croissant.
That should linger a little bit.
Yeah. Also, all I know is Barry and what's his face, Gary. They should be feeling so fucking lucky right now that they just got off the freaking hook. They were about to be hated by everyone, and now no one's even gonna think about that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this hasn't gotten through your mind too, but you owe Black Beak a ship too. So imagine if that had taken it all the way and you'd gotten fully sunk.
Well, let me ask you a question, DM Max.
Yes.
How did you feel ship combat went? Like, did you intend it to be that deadly and that devastating?
I think that's more of not ship combat in itself, but who you were in ship combat with. So yeah, ship combat, like, I mean, both of those ships have some pretty beefy hulls and stats, and they've got some okay guns for, for their size and stuff like that. Theirs definitely has better than yours, but I think the gravity of the situation where you have a ship of the Divine Order of Conservancy stopping for a routine inspection, and if the response to that is we're going to fire cannons at you, I mean, I think at that point their option is just to basically rain hell down on you. And I will say that they fully tried to, and you notice that the first thing they went after were sails, and then went after your helm. I think that you could infer based off of that their plan was to disable you and board you and figure out what's going on, which would not have been good after you shot at them. But I think if because basically it's almost like an analogy of you walk into town and start taking out guards kind of thing. They're an entity that has all been agreed and funded upon by all of the city-states to sort of do this job. And they hunt pirates and magic users. So, yeah.
And we are both.
Yeah. So I think when someone shoots at them, they have a pretty good idea of who's shooting at them. So, but yeah, it was I mean, I don't know what I expected for the outcome anyway. It was pretty much, it was almost a stalemate as far as like damage wise, but I think they edged you out a little bit having an extra cannon and just kind of kept tipping that scale a little bit.
Yeah. Man, I wish we thought of the magma thing earlier. That would have changed things so much faster if we just freaking blew up their gunpowder.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Thinking on your part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What do you think?
Well, it was your idea because you said something about like setting it on fire, and I was like, fire.
Yeah.
And I had just taken that spell because we just hit level 8. So I had just prepared that spell at the beginning of the session. So I was like, I was going to do like water elementals or something. But then I was like, wait a minute, I can do fire elementals.
Mm-hmm. What do you think your respective characters, like how do they feel about seeing Whisper, or probably Whisper being responsible for throwing the white flag up on your ship? I know it kind of happened simultaneously where like everyone kind of gave up at once, but what do you think that means to your characters?
Not much to Emmy. She's kind of indifferent either way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we left her in charge. Well, because Azric and Emmy was like, all right, let's do this. We're the spellcasters. We can rain fire on top of the cannon fire to try to like give us an edge in combat, and just like meta talking because she had that conversation with Cooter. But I think she made the right call. That's when like both sides are like, okay, let's take a step back because there's freaking magma men gonna blow up our ship, and is one cannon shot away from sinking completely. So
yeah, and I think too, I'm glad that Emmy summoned the magmen and that Hayden tried to do his thing too, just because like I was leaning that way. I was waiting until the last second, but I'm thinking like if someone's in charge of the ship that's not a player, I'm trying to think through their minds. They're not gonna let the ship completely sink. Like I was trying to find, because I don't want to do such like a big like shift in kind of what the players had going, because it shouldn't be a DM's decision to do that. But I think in that moment, it's just like that's really probably what the rest of the crew would do, because at this point their morale's probably gone. So, but tough decision. But
crazy session, just a crazy session all around. I'm
exhausted.
Very curious to see what I know. I'm like, it feels like we've played 10 hours of D&D. I'm excited to see what this means for next session. I have no clue what's about to happen. So
I feel bad for Mac because she missed the
I feel bad for Mac too.
And a lot of stuff went down, and then she's gonna come back and she's like, "Wait, what happened?
What'd you do?"
Yeah. I mean, at Prime, just having an extra person might have helped turn the tide too. I mean, you can't what if that kind of stuff because
it's not fair. I try to think about it because we did what we did. So
yeah, that's very true.
There's so many things at every point that you could do differently that there's no point in sitting there and trying to think, what if? Because it's like, we could have tried to run. We could have tried to trick them. We could have surrendered. There's so many other things we could have done before it got to that point that it's like, why even bother going down that line of thinking? So
that's why I like you all as a group, is that you'll typically say, when you come to a decision, like, here we go. Not a whole lot of waffling. That's why I like about that. But.
It's more fun that way, honestly. You just gotta like yes and.
It's because we're live streaming too, right? We're doing entertainment. If we were like at home table, things probably would have been different. But when you're live, it's live. You just go with it.
And you have to really be in that mindset that there really isn't, that no one never makes the wrong choice, because if you start thinking that way, then it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
But regardless of what choice your friend makes, you just have to be like, yeah, okay. Like, as long as they're not intentionally making stupid choices, which no one is. And then it just becomes fun. There's something freeing about that, I think. Right? I think that's the hardest thing.
Like a fluid, evolving story. So I mean, there's no one did anything wrong. That's just how the story was told.
Goes.
Oh yeah, that's how it's told.
It can be hard to get into that mindset successfully, I think, for anyone that wants to do your own campaigns that way. The first step is the hardest, but once you kind of get into the swing of doing that, it gets really easy and freeing, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of how the story unfolds, tune in next time for episode 44 to figure out what happens.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I don't want to wait a whole week.
I know, it's going to be wild. But anyway, thanks for watching, hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everybody.